Hi, I'm Gretchen,
And I'm Becca.
and we're two curious ladies on an adventure to learn more about cooking, cannabis.
And the fine art of gluttony. Join us every 10 days or so as we get high and make our way through a recipe.
Step inside and let the consumption begin. Oh, Becca, here we are again.
We meet again. I feel I am looking forward to what we're making today. I'm always caught off guard by how easy but complicated making this fleur de lis sort of ice cream is. So as always, I've underestimated what it took to get us to this point, but I'm still very excited for the outcome. This is going to be a fun one because we have made fleur de lis in the past, but we're zhuzhing it up with some Gretchen additions. This is going to be a couple of parts, but it's going to all come together. It's going to be delicious. But before we get to that, what are you smoking over there, Gretchen?
I'm having some Oreos today since when we've recorded and I've smoked that before, I have been having a lot of fun and I am ready to have a lot of fun today. What are you smoking, Becca?
I have another new one for me. It's a Mac and GMO, Macmo blend, hybrid, whatever, this is from McCoy. Yeah, McCoy. And it has 26% THC, 0.07% CBD, and then 8.5 milligrams per gram beta caryophyllene, then 7.48 milligrams limonene, and 3.71 milligrams humulene. So pretty similar to what I had last time in terms of the terpene profile.
And to go with our tasty weed, we have a Paloma today. Not that it's particularly on brand, although we did think we could maybe throw a little balsamic vinegar in it and that would make it apply, but then we decided to go, no balsamic. So here we are,
Mm-mm.
the regular
Just a
old,
Paloma. Yeah,
just a Paloma. But I think it goes with the basil that we're putting into the fleur de lis, so that's where it comes in.
I agree. Should we say the Paloma ingredients right up front?
Sure.
All right. This is 2 ounces of tequila, 2 ounces of fresh grapefruit juice, which I did not do fresh, plus wedges for garnish, 2 ounces of sparkling water, 1/2 ounce of lime juice, 1/4 ounce agave nectar or simple syrup, or to taste on the quantity there, and then coarse sea salt for the rim of the glass, and ice.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Delicious. Grapefruity.
Delicious.
I think
Lime.
maybe I'm just not
Sparkle.
mine sparkling, yes. Much of a tequila drinker. It's just not really my favorite.
I used to hate it. I used to avoid it, but I've come around recently to appreciate it. I've been I've been really anti-vodka. Yeah.
Okay.
Corn?
Corn.
Isn't vodka mostly made from corn now?
Something like that.
Yeah.
I was
Well,
like,
either way, this weed is hitting me. It feels like it's hitting you too.
yeah,
So we'll see how this goes. But we did want to quickly read a little bit of something from Ingrediente by our favorite, Marcella Hazan. She doesn't have a full basil section, which really shocked me, to be honest. But she has a little page on sweet basil. So, I haven't read this yet. Are you ready to experience Marcella's sweet basil thoughts with me, Gretchen?
indeed. I am
Let's do it.
always ready to experience Marcella stuff.
Okay. This is page 171 in Ingrediente. Small-leaved sweet basil, sometimes known as Genovese,
Genovese.
Genovese, is the superstar of Italian herbs. It is irresistible on ripe tomatoes, in salads, scattered on a pizza margherita after it comes out of the oven, and most famously in pesto. From the list, one quickly infers that it is meant to be used raw. Indeed, all the charm of basil, its cheerful hue, Its effusive clove-like and minty scent, all its notable properties vanish when heated. In a caprese, it is irreplaceable. Cooked, it is almost useless.
Oh, Marcella, you are so wrong in this opinion, because we are about to prove you wrong in this
I
opinion.
know. I was like, oh shit, we're cooking.
I I do think she has a point about it. If it's dried, I feel like if you dry it, it has like no flavor. But
hmm
this, we cook the basil. We cook the basil in this. I've even seen pesto recipes that like blanch the basil before you use it, and that helps stop the browning.
Oh,
But it
fun.
but it doesn't, it also doesn't harm the flavor at all. So
hmm All right. Well, we're taking you on in this one, Marcella. One of the few times we challenge her.
I know.
Ooh-hoo-hoo. No, it's fine. Okay. Basil grows so easily in a sunny spot that you should make every effort to take your basil leaves from a living plant. Packaged fresh, pla- packaged fresh basil, its leaves preferably small, can take the place of the real thing when there is no alternative. Do not keep it any longer than the day you buy it. I have known of and tried various methods of keeping cut basil leaves, including freezing. I am not satisfied that any of them supplies what I am eager for when I use basil. The whole leaf looks immensely attractive with sliced tomatoes or on a caprese, but it will release more fragrance if you tear it first. Thai and other Asian basils are not fully successful as substitutes for sweet basil in Italian salads, and certainly not in pesto. That's it. That's all she has to say.
Yeah, we're gonna shit all over Marcella's opinions here because I'm using a type of basil from my front yard that is called Emerald Towers, and it is one of the prettiest, most intriguing basil plants because it truly does. It's sterile, so it doesn't put out any seeds after it flowers, but it grows in these like huge columns, like beautifully leafy. I mean, and I can clone it super easily. I keep cloning it by accident, even is how easily it's cloned. And there is a way to keep cut basil. Fuck you, Marcella. Like, oh, I know. I've gone for the F word.
Whoa. Okay. Wow.
Clearly, she's not taking full stems and putting them in water. Because if you cut the stems and put them in water and treat them more like a flower than like more like a living plant or a flower than some other herbs you might just
Like
toss in the
celery or something.
fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, I've gotten basil clones like that just from, and then you can plant that if you want, but they'll develop root systems. You can keep them in water for quite a long time.
hmm So maybe it depends on the basil,
That too.
but for the most part, you don't have, like, there's a way to store it and keep it that's not same day use.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Fuck you, Marcella. My mouth dropped open.
I know. You were shocked.
I was shocked. Oh my gosh.
It's like,
Well, why are we talking about basil though when we're talking about fleur de lis? Because Gretchen had this brilliant idea. You've made it before though?
I've made basil ice cream many times. I
Okay.
love basil ice cream, especially if you put like freeze-dried strawberries on it. That was a favorite way to eat it for a while. Like basil ice cream with strawberries is just so good. And I forgot where we exactly started. Was it trying to find like an interesting ice cream topping, or there was a different ice cream topping we were gonna do, but then we kind of moved on to this one because it is a nut balsamic brittle,
hmm
and we were deeply intrigued by it. And then we thought, what kind of ice cream could we make? And I was like, oh, such a shame we're not going to make basil ice cream because Becca doesn't lay eggs. And then Becca said, but if we did fleur de lis, we could do that. So we're
Yeah.
mashing up 2 David Leibowitz recipes for this. And yeah, so hopefully it turns out okay. I'm also not sure where we're going to land on this because it's an experiment, but theoretically it should work great.
I think it's going to be delicious and it will be what it is either way. I've struggled with fleur de lis in the past, and Gretchen did hint at this, but let's remind everybody again. You can go back and listen to our fleur de lis episode where we go into more detail. But a fleur de lis is an ice cream that uses cornstarch instead of egg. So it's my favorite thing in the world as far as ice cream goes because it has no egg, but it also makes it a little bit easier to prepare because you don't have to worry as much about like heating up your egg too much or cooking your egg too much when you're making like an ice cream. So it's a little bit easier in some ways. It might be a little bit harder in others, but we did also have to, and I forgot to do this until a little bit late in the game, but you have to, if you're making any fleur de lis or ice cream, is prep your ice cream bowl that it will be mixed in and then stored in the freezer. So it's 2 o'clock now. Mine went in about 6 a.m. I'm hoping it's frozen through, but that's another, just a little reminder if you're heading into this fleur de lis ice cream game. It's not something you can just start right now and have sort of same day.
So it depends on the type of ice cream maker you have. Because if you have one that uses ice and salt, rock salt, or any kind of salt, then yeah, totally able to do it same day. But if you're using a ice cream canister like we are using, I think I need to buy a new ice cream canister because mine's so old, I think it doesn't work properly anymore. Anyway, this is why I thought maybe we could talk through doing ice and rock salt freezing.
Oh, we did that in the other fleur de lis.
Oh, did we?
We did.
Oh, never mind then. I couldn't,
Yeah.
well, hi, I'm a stoner. Nice to meet you. Okay, great. Perfect. So I'm glad you keep track of these things for me.
I specifically remember because I've made it like in a coffee
Ah!
can, and we talked about me like rolling it at Mormon camp.
Oh, yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry. My memory is
No,
shit.
it's fine.
Uh, Great. Okay, so that's that. We covered that. That's great. Never mind. So if in a pinch today, Becca, if we are having trouble with our ice cream things getting that to freeze, we may be doing some sort of ad hoc ice and salt situation to try and figure out how to do this. Maybe even using a hand blend mixer. I don't know. I don't really know
See.
how we'll make
Yeah,
this work, but
we'll see.
we'll see. We're gonna give it a
Yeah.
shot.
Yeah. We're gonna give it a shot. I wonder if then we could talk through what regular fleur de lis ingredients would look like without our basil addition.
Of
And
course.
then what would you do with that? Just like the regular overview of the regular process for making fleur de lis.
I'm also going to point out that I have altered the ratio of heavy cream to milk most likely in this. I copied it out of the book. We actually wrote this script a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure these are my ratios that I'm
I
using.
think you're right. Yeah.
This is due to the fact that I really like fatty milk, and that if I use my fatty milk with heavy cream, it is too, or like with the full proportion of heavy cream, it's too creamy. And I did get the fat plug out of my milk today and we'll be incorporating it into this ice cream. So, recipe for regular fleur de lis. So we've got 2.5 cups whole milk, 3/4 of a cup of sugar, a pinch of salt, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, 1/3 of a cup heavy cream, and then that's for the basic fleur de lis. And today we are adding 1 cup of packed basil leaves and some lemon zest to the equation to make our basil fleur de lait.
Yum. So yum. So without the basil piece of it, what's the basic process for making fleur de lis?
When you make a fleur de lait, you are going to put your milk and sugar into a saucepan, then a little bit of salt so that all can work together, dissolving and so forth. Then you're going to take your 3 tablespoons of cornstarch and add your remaining amount of heavy cream to that. And then once your milk is sort of starting to heat up, you'll mix in that heavy cream cornstarch combo, bring to a boil, let it boil, and then reduce the heat and let it simmer for 2 minutes just to cook the cornstarch flavor out, and then take it off the heat. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yes, easy peasy lemon squeezy, although I think I have messed it up in the past, but not today. It's going to be flawless today. So then for us, since we're adding the basil in, we're doing things a little bit differently.
We're making it way more complicated, unfortunately.
Math was involved. We're going to, immersion blenders are out. It's intense.
All right, so we are going to start our fleur de lait, a basil fleur de lait process by blending together our basil leaves with the heavy cream, 1/4 cup of sugar, and a 1/2 cup of milk until the leaves are chopped fine. Then putting half that mixture into a bowl for later, and then mixing the second half with the cornstarch. So much work. Then we are going to take the basil cornstarch mixture and mix it with the remaining 2 cups of milk and 1/2 cup of sugar with a little bit of salt, and heat until the mixture boils. Then simmer for 2 minutes. Then once that has simmered for 2 minutes and cooked out that cornstarch flavor, we're going to strain it into that other remaining amount of the heavy cream basil sugar mixture and then zest our lemon into that. And I think that's it.
Can I do a recap just so I make sure one more time that I have it
Yeah.
also?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So pretty similar to the regular fleur de lis, but we did mix up the dairy quantities between what's going to be heated on the stovetop and what's getting blended with the basil. So right now we have all of the basil, a portion of the sugar, which is 1/4 cup, and all of the cream, which was 1/3 of a cup, I believe, and a portion of the milk, so 1/2 cup there. So we're going to immersion blend that up so it's pretty thin and the basil is like chopped to little infinity pieces almost, like pretty small.
Yes, infinity pieces. Yes.
Okay. Once that basil mixture is blended, we're going to divide it in half. 1/2 is going to go and sit in a bowl by itself, not to be touched until later during the final mixing. And the other half goes into our 3 tablespoons of cornstarch that is sitting on its own. That's going to get mixed up. And in the meantime, we've got our remainder of milk, which is 2 cups, and our remainder of sugar, which is 1/2 cup, that we're going to start heating on the stovetop in a saucepan. So we get that mixture heating, then we add in our 1/2 of the basil deliciousness, bring all of that to a boil, turn the heat down, off, or just down?
Off.
Off.
Oh,
Let
no,
it just
sorry.
go
Sorry. Nope, down, cook 2 minutes, then off.
down and still cook. So it still needs to be simmering. We can't just like remove it from heat.
Right, 2 minutes of
Okay.
simmering. Yeah.
Okay. And then once it's done simmering, we take that, strain it, sieve it, and that's when it gets combined into the half of the basil mixture that has been untouched up to this point. And then we real quick do our lemon zest. And then everything will go into the refrigerator for a little bit to cool down.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, it goes into our ice cream mixing machines and mixes for 30 minutes.
Correct.
And then goes into the freezer.
Correct.
So we'll be doing time traveling today.
Yeah, lots of time traveling. We're not going to bore
Yeah.
you with the the fleur de lis mixing and all that nonsense.
No, it's thrilling stuff, but you don't have to hear it.
Exactly. Yes. Thrilling. Absolutely thrilling. And then we're classing the joint up a little bit by making a balsamic brittle. So we're going to actually do that first because it requires a little oven time.
I forgot to preheat my oven.
Oh no! Better go do that.
Okay, you keep sharing
I'll,
that
I'll,
recipe
I'll,
and steps, and I'll preheat.
I got you. I got you. You go preheat. I will cover this part. Okay. So the balsamic brittle is pretty easy. We get 1 cup of sugar, 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Make sure it's barrel aged, and 1/3 cup sliced or whole almonds or peanuts. I forgot to get almonds or peanuts at the store, so I am actually going to be using pecans. And we'll have to find out what Becca is using in a minute once she's back from her trip to the kitchen. But here's the process, because it's also easy. I'm going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. Then we will mix together the sugar and the balsamic vinegar in a medium-sized bowl until well incorporated. Spread evenly on a parchment-lined sheet pan, bake for 8 minutes, remove from the oven and sprinkle with nuts, set aside to cool, break into shards, and store in an airtight container.
I mixed my nuts in with the sugar already. I'm gonna
Ah,
have to pick them out.
no, it's fine.
No, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. Okay.
Yeah, I also thought they were going to go in with the nuts. I didn't realize it was 2 different things here.
Yeah,
So
shame.
maybe I'll do it
But
both
I'm.
ways. I'll put some down
Oh.
on the pan and just bake
Mm-hmm.
the sugar and then do the nuts in one half, and we'll see what's better. But yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about it. Uh,
Okay.
especially,
Okay, Theo.
are they toasted nuts or
No,
they're
they're
raw?
blanched, raw,
Okay,
sliced almonds. Yeah.
I think it'll be fine. Because I was
Okay.
also thinking that we were gonna bake it with the nuts in it, and so
Yeah. I was like,
I
la di
almost,
da, mix it all up.
I
Da, da.
almost did the same thing. I just didn't mix
Oh
my
my
nuts
gosh.
in for some reason.
Ugh. Well, yeah. Even easier then.
Yeah, I don't mind. As I said, I thought that was what was happening. Totally got
hmm
it wrong.
We've said a lot of things. This is a dish heavy. This is a lot of bowls, a lot of one saucepan, I guess, but we're also using the immersion blender. So what all equipment do we need for this?
All right.
Everything.
So you need some form of blender, food processor, something along that line to do the initial grinding to make your, let's call it cream pesto to start, your sweet cream pesto.
Sweet cream pesto. Yeah.
And you're gonna need a sieve of some kind, at least 3 bowls, I think 3 bowls, at the very least 2, measuring cups, pan on the stove, sheet
Baking
pan,
sheet.
baking
Yeah.
sheet for
Sheet pan.
the balsamic brittle. But that one's pretty easy. It's just on a sheet pan, so that's good. A couple of
Mm-hmm.
bowls for that. I'm gonna be making good use of the dishwasher later to get all this cleaned up.
Yeah. An ice cream machine.
An ice cream machine.
Or be ready to roll around a bunch of ice and salt for a long time.
Right, exactly, yeah. I was just thinking more of setting like a bowl into that rock salt and ice and then mixing it with a hand mixture. So
Mm.
no kicking involved, although probably the
Okay.
kicking would be more fun. I was thinking kitchen equipment, not rolling it around outside. See
Well,
what
it would
happens.
melt here immediately
In a
anyway if I
minute,
had to
yeah,
do it outside. Yeah.
the container would just crack from the heat
Yeah.
differential. Be
My
like,
hand would burn trying to
yeah,
pick it up. Yeah.
But which
Oh
way is it
boy.
burning? Is it cold burning or is it hot burning? It could be both at the same time because you're living on the surface of the sun. Jesus.
Yeah, 111 today.
That's why I don't know if I can live in Las Vegas.
No, I hear you, and I love it, but talk to me in 10 years. I don't know.
Well, hopefully you won't
Okay,
be there for
though.
10 years,
Yeah,
Hopefully
yeah.
this whole compound
Compound.
thing
High
is
gluttony
gonna.
compound. High gluttony compound. Homestead.
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 That's right.
Homestead.
You say compound sounded a bit too culty, I think, and
Yeah, not that we're not building a cult, but
yeah. But it's a good cult.
okay.
It's a
It's
live
a
your
good
life
one.
cult.
It's a good one. It's the only good one. So when we get in the kitchen, we're going to start with the brittle, like Gretchen said, and then do the basil sweet cream mix.
Yes.
Okay. Should we do this?
Let's go. Let's go.
Okay.
Chop,
Let's go.
chop, chop.
Choppity chop.
Choppity chop.
The Paloma is dangerous.
No shit, that Paloma is
Oh,
dangerous. I think I sucked at least half of that down when we were sitting there. So
oh my God, it's so good. Hot
I'm gonna.
Paloma summer from now on. Although we're ending our summer days soon.
It'll be over before we know it.
Ugh.
So I'm just finishing up mixing up my 1 cup of sugar with the 2 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna
Since I
put
had all mine. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm gonna put half of this on the sheet pan and then mix nuts into the other half to see.
Yum.
And what were you going to say?
Since I had mine already mixed up, I just dumped it out onto the pan.
Kind of nice when you're ahead of the game. I added a little bit more balsamic vinegar to my second portion because I'm worried there wasn't enough balsamic in it.
Okay.
And I am using granule, so I can't actually tell the color difference.
Okay.
I can smell the balsamic, but I can't tell.
Mine looks like brown sugar now.
Okay. So yeah, brittle started at least.
Brittle, ready to go in the oven soon. I'm almost preheated too.
I'll wait till you're preheated, but I am ready to roll over here. We can go ahead and turn the heat on under our milk and sugar that are on the stove.
Okay.
And we can kind of put that on medium. I'm going to fish out the big clumps of fat from my milk and put them into the end result here.
Sure.
So they don't get heated. I feel like I'm not doing myself any services with heating it up.
Mm-hmm.
What? No, you don't need anything.
I'm preheated.
Okay, 1 second. Now I gotta finish trying to scoop out the large chunks of fat here. Yeah, did you find a little bit of cream down there? Am I falling on the floor? Cassie's learned to sit in the kitchen. All right, I am ready to go in the oven as soon as you are here to put things in the oven.
Let's do it.
In we go. Now it's
I'll set it 8 minutes. Yeah.
Okay.
You got it?
Who's got it? You got it? I got
I'll
it?
do it.
Okay.
8 on the clock.
8 on the clock. All right. Now we can start preheating our milk with the sugar in it.
Okay.
I'm just going to put that on medium for a minute and get my immersion blender plugged in.
Okay. So we don't have to be constantly stirring it right at this stage?
No.
We blend?
Yes. I'm just going to give my milk a quick stir. Okay. So move my sugar around so it doesn't burn at the bottom.
Yeah.
But yes, let's go ahead and blend. Hopefully this works.
Okay.
Well, the answer to it, does that work, is not very well.
Oh, really?
I don't think this one that I have, this doesn't have enough power. My other one is kind of not working right now, so.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah.
Mine is beautiful, and I had to sample it, and it tastes like the best
So
thing
good.
I've ever had in my entire life. It's so beautiful. I can't even handle it. I'm so excited.
My current blender is not up to the job. So we're just gonna go with this as is. I am gonna strain this before I put it the half a quantity in the other bowl.
So you'll strain all of it
Yeah, I'm gonna
now.
strain all of it
Okay.
now, just
Okay.
because it didn't chop up at all, and I don't want to work it anymore. I don't want to chop it anymore. Uh, so it's just gonna have to be heat extraction instead of physical extraction.
Well, you'll still get all that flavor.
Yeah, that's what I figure. Might be kind of one of the less fortunate looking batches I've ever done. It's kind of brown,
Oh,
but
sad basil.
sad basil. Hopefully it'll taste fine.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I'm mixing the other half into the cornstarch.
Okay, I'll do that too. And you're whisking it in?
Yeah. Well, I'm mixing it with a spoon, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, just want to get the chunks out as much as possible.
Okay, I'll whisk together.
Now I'm going to add it into the milk
Okay.
and whisk it together there too.
Okay, more whisking.
I think part of the problem is I used granule.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's so hard to grind down.
No, just because the color. So the color's unfortunate because I started with a brown tone.
Oh.
There we go. So I'll combine there, and now we just got to get a boil going. So I'm going to stand here and stir.
We've got 2 minutes on the brittle too, so get a hot pack ready.
Okay, got it. Have one in reach. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I splashed myself with some of the. Must have hit a snag of leaves on the fleur de lait.
Oh, little splatter.
Got a splash, yeah.
55 seconds.
Okay. Mine's definitely pretty well done. The bit with nuts in it actually isn't quite cooked in the middle. Kind of interesting. I'm like standing here in preparation of like the oven, the timer going off.
I know.
I'm ready.
Oh, I'm boiling on my mix.
Oh, good.
On my stove.
Good for you. All right,
turn it down.
Turn it down.
Okay, brittle.
Okay, brittle. Brittle.
Everything happens at the same time.
I know. You'd think we'd learn.
I know.
But no.
My brittle, it's a little crispy on the edges.
Yeah. There we go. Getting that nut action. Pulling shit from the bag, making lots of noise. All right. I've nutted my other half of the brittle.
Okay. Brittle's been nutted.
Brittle's been nutted.
I'm going to be ready to sieve in a second.
All right. And you're going to be jumping ahead of me because I still haven't boiled.
Should I wait or should I go?
No. If you hit your sieve like consistency, go for it. You shouldn't wait for me.
Okay. It's pretty thick.
Good.
Okay.
You'll thin it out with that little bit of the mix that you've got on the side. So.
Oh, I forgot. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going.
Okay. Have fun.
Thank you.
Come on. Ice cream base. You're making me look bad.
Okay, I've sieved and I'm combining the two liquids.
All right. I've got simmering going, so I should be able to go in a minute here.
Okay, cool. Okay, I'm gonna zest.
Okay.
How much zest?
I think we can do the whole lemon. Oops. One corner of my fleur de lait a little extra cooked.
Uh-oh.
I think we're okay.
Toast delay.
Mm-hmm. Although it's very tasty.
Yeah. So I just finished my lemon zest, so I'm gonna get mine into the fridge.
All right, sounds good.
Did I cover this?
No. We gotta let this chill, and then we gotta freeze it. Should we do a little time travel?
Let's do it. It'll be a little bit, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See you in the future.
See you in the future.
We are in the future. We have
super future.
Super
in a few
future.
Days. Yeah.
Our ice cream has had time to rest in the freezer, and our brittle has had time to rest and be enjoyed to the point of almost not existing anymore. Fortunately.
to the point of obsession. Yes.
So I'm gonna give this a little taste. I actually have not really tasted this yet. Just the fleur de lis first. Never mind, I got some brittle in there.
I know. It's like, what's that crunch in your Fleur de Lis then?
Yeah. Oh, really good. I was a little worried. I do think I need to go with like a sweet basil rather than one of my homegrown basils that maybe a bigger leaf basil because the Emerald Towers has little tiny leaves and there's a little hint of bitterness to this that I don't usually get. And I'm not sure if that isn't also exacerbated by not being able to have it chopped up by the fur mixer or whatever. So there's a little bit of bitterness to it that I don't particularly love. But with the brittle, the thing that the balsamic brings to the brittle, that like real nice fruity note, works quite well with the slightly more bitter flavor of this fleur de lis. So overall, I'm quite pleased, but probably wouldn't use the Emerald Towers basil again. Go with a standard flat big leaf. Thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with you pretty much across the board. I think, real quick, you had done a test of the two brittle styles. One was including the nuts in and then baking. The other one was keeping the nuts separate and mixing it in after the sugar had caramelized, which was what the recipe instructed. So what were your final thoughts on those two side by side styles?
Oh, 100% mix the nuts in. I hated though. I do not like the one with the nuts on top. I was just like, I don't like it. The one where the nuts were mixed in definitely got a more nutty flavor imbued into the sugar, whereas the other one, the sugar was good, but it didn't have any nutty notes to it, and I was like, it just didn't hit. And where the one that had the nuts mixed in was like light years better. Just so good. I ate all of that one first. Like I begrudgingly am eating the last of the other.
I'm glad to hear that because I thought it was so fucking good with the nuts mixed in. I loved the flavor that those almonds brought to it. It was so complex. It was nutty. It didn't taste like almonds, but it still had that sweetness of the almonds that I love from anything almond. And then just a little bit of crunch. I think for me, I had not evened it out completely across the baking sheet. The middle seemed to be thicker or something. It wasn't as caramelized. It wasn't as crunchy and it had more of that like brown sugary texture to it. It was solidified, but it wasn't as crunchy. But then some of the very edge pieces were very dark.
Yes.
So I wish I had like figured out a way to whatever that would have looked like to keep that a little more uniform or something. Loved the brittle. Loved the brittle.
Yes, I had the same issue and I actually just did one other batch of the brittle because I wanted the brittle with the nuts in for my thing. Uh,
Hmm.
but I had that same problem where it did not cook as fast. So when you go with the sugar in it just by itself, it's going to cook a lot faster and a lot more
Sure,
evenly. So
sure.
that did seem to be the problem because I also had that like spot in the center of the first batch that was like just had a like the sugar had started to fuse together, but you're right, it had a little bit of a sandy texture
Mm-hmm.
and not as evenly cooked. Correct. Yes, I had the same
Yeah.
experience. So,
But it was so good and it did work so well with the balsamic, which brought that sweetness, but a little funkiness to it. It was delicious. And then as really a great compliment to your awesome basil recipe for the fleur de lis. I loved it. It's been 3 or 4 days since we made it. I've tasted it every day just for quality control, of course. For me, I love that first day texture after like 2 or 3 hours where it's still almost soft servy. I love
yeah,
that. Oh, I
yeah.
love that. I was thinking I wanted to try it again. And how do you feel about like soaking the basil in a milk or cream first so that it's never like even broken down into the into the fleur de lis. It's just the flavor
Scented.
infused. Yeah.
I was thinking a similar thought that I probably would have been better off had I just gone into my like cooked the basil whole leaves in the milk or like heated the
Yeah.
milk, added the whole leaves at the end and let it sit for just like a few minutes to infuse and then drain it out.
Hmm.
So I was thinking about that as like a more of a scenting versus having the actual leaf in like the leaf puree in there, I guess.
Like the leaf itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
The meat of the leaf.
So I would be intrigued to try that because especially because fleur de lis doesn't need so much of a heavy flavor to it because you've removed the egg and so you have that like more just lightly milky flavor. So I was wondering this similar idea where I was like if you just like added it in and then pulled it out entirely instead of grinding it up, what would that do for you? So,
Yeah. I thought the same thing about the lemon zest. I did really enjoy it, but it also felt like, to your point too, the fleur de lis is such a deliciously, not simple, but sweet, creamy flavor that I want to be kind of like the last lingering thing. And so the basil and the lemon zest almost overpowered what I wanted. But I think it would be cool to, like you said, like maybe cook everything, and when it's like after it's boiled and it's at that simmer stage, like throw in some lemon peel and some basil for the simmer part and then strain everything out. So you're still getting that really velvety texture of the fleur de lis
hmm
and that sweetness, but with the hint of lemon and the hint of basil. Like
yeah,
where are you? What is that kind of a
yeah.
thing? Yeah.
I think I'm tasting something, but what is it?
Yeah. I did like the color. There was such a pretty pale green to it, like a pistachio green, and the
hmm
flakes were really pretty. They were hard to see. I tried to get some pictures of them. It was kind of hard to see the flakes in the photos, but I loved it. It was really fun and such a delight of flavors, like lemon and basil and balsamic and almond and crunch and like that so sweet, decadent fleur de lis. I loved it. This was such a top recipe, top dish, top.
Well, and now you would understand. Like I make basil ice cream almost once a year, sometimes
I
more often.
I mean, yeah. And there's so much you could do with it. I mean, blackberries have been on our mind, your mind. So I was
Yes.
thinking too how it would be fun to do a little blackberry basil or a blackberry syrup with basil ice cream
hmm
and
Strawberry.
limitless options. Strawberry, yeah, strawberry for sure.
Strawberries. I'm
And
obsessed with
peach,
basil strawberry.
yeah.
Oh, peach would
So
probably be
many
good.
things.
Yeah.
Peach would be good. Even like another herb, like a mint or something. We were trying to set a time limit for ourselves, and we're getting better about that, everybody. But that means then you're going to hear a lot more bells in the
Chimes.
background.
Yeah. A little bit of Gretchen or Gretchen and Becca don't have a person producer, so they have to use a timer instead.
Yeah. Claudia, our Zoom recorder voice, and our personal assistant through the phone or the timer app. Yeah. Well, I guess that it was plenty of time to talk about what we needed to talk about then. Any final thoughts on basil fleur de lis with balsamic almond brittle?
Yeah, I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Considering I didn't think it was going to take us 10 whole minutes to talk about it, but I guess with assessing the recipe at the end and adding our own little like flair to it, I guess I underestimated us. So,
Yeah. And I guess one last thought, final world level, maybe 2 to 3, depending on everything you do. If you were to do some of these new modifications we're saying, where you're not like immersion blending the basil and some of the cream ingredients on their own, but instead just making the fleur de lis, but adding that basil and lemon zest infusion, however it looks for you at some point, that would make it a 1 to 2 even,
Hmm.
I would think.
Yeah, and I gotta say, doing the brittle this way is genius because
It was so easy too.
so simple, so easy. I worked at a restaurant. We would serve our apple turnovers with a little bit of some sort of nut brittle. I think it might have been almond, but I'm not 100% sure. It could have changed.
Yeah.
But so I've made hundreds of batches of brittle and never did it in the oven like that. And I'm like, God damn it. I could have saved myself so much time being able to just toss it in the oven.
Really, I agree. It was a little bit life-changing
Mhm.
because you could do any nut, you could make it kind of savory, spicy. It
Yeah,
was really fun. And in literally 8 minutes, just an extra minute to put everything together and then our 8 minutes cook time. That's it. Like holiday treats, throw it on anything. But yeah, okay. We are nut brittle in the oven evangelists now. Super perfect way to start closing out our summer a little bit. Not too much, but we're into August now. So gotta get our ice cream in.
right?
But join our Patreon where you can hear lots more food talk like this and use our discount code at BusyCBD, BIZZY CBD, and our discount code is all caps HGBusy.
Hey, and I just wanted to say I got an email from them. Well, we got an email slash I got an email because I placed an order from Busy and they have a new peach flavor. So I am ordering some of those
Yeah,
today.
try the peach out. Let me know. It
Yeah.
has the Delta 9, right?
Uh-huh. And I was like,
Oh,
oh,
okay. We see you, Busy.
fascinating. Busy, you mixing it up, throwing a little Delta 9 THC out there. What?
You're minxy busy. All right. Well, off we go.
Off we go. And we have a
The
Patreon.
coconut?
Subscribe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Do the
that's right. You
Patreon. Do
said
the
that.
Patreon.
Oh, I forgot
Like
the
and
coconut.
subscribe. Leave a comment. Follow us. Stitcher's gone. So find us wherever else you can if you were following us or listening on Stitcher. But just give us a follow wherever you are, rate, and tell everybody about it until you pass out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, what happened to Stitcher?
Got folded into, it merged with Pandora and something
Ah.
else. And so
Oh,
they shut down Stitcher.
gotta get on Pandora now, I guess. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll work on being everywhere else. So bye
We
bye,
are everywhere else.
Stitcher. Yeah.
Yeah. Adios, Stitcher. But,
Adios.
okay. Adios,
Bye.
us. Bye.
Adios, us. Yeah, guy. Get out of here.
Adios.
Oh, wait. Ah.